So one number that I've pointed out throughout the years in my videos is 1.6 gHA or 1.7 gHA, global hectares per capita, which is a number that is calculated by the Global Footprint Network. And that basically tells us that we have to become relatively poor because only very poor countries can achieve this low level of footprint. The recommended amount is actually under this 1.6. And so what that would entail is a rationing system, giving up the consumer society and, productionist society that we have, and just prioritize basic forms of consumption, the ones that we cannot do without: food, healthcare, things like that, that you could prioritize and make sure that everybody is well supplied, which would mean, of course, a high level of equality, because if you have such a low threshold of consumption, then the second you give somebody much more than you give to somebody else, you're talking pretty substantial deprivation. So you would need high levels of equality. And this number, 1.6 gHA, should be presented to the masses, to the public, on a regular basis if we had newspapers and media that actually were aware of the grave danger to the species, to the human species as well as other species, that is entailed by not trying to achieve this number. The United States is at about 8.5 or higher, and even social democratic countries in Europe like Norway, they're at around 5. Norway actually does better than Sweden, um, but 5 is still much more than 1.6. I think that even Cuba at about 1.9 or 2 is higher than what is necessary. So uh, there's no doubt that we would need to cut down on consumption, ration goods and services. And until that number is enforced by governments, centralized governments, as well as local governments, as well as being made apparent to the consciousness of the masses through massive media dissemination, until then, we cannot say that we are attending to the most important issue of our times.